Hey YouTube, this is Oasis Rising, and today I'm going to show you how to paint this little guy's silvers. So we're going to do up the chainmail and the silvers on his helmet, the spear blade, and his armor. So, get to work. Okay, first we're going to start with the Vallejo Model Air silver color. I really like this silver. I just picked it up for these Reavers. I really like it because it's so easy to brush on. It flows off really nicely. It covers great. I can just cover in one coat, and you don't have to thin it down at all, really. So here it is. Don't need too much of it. And I've already put a base coat on here of, let's see, the base color from GW for silvers. But that was a while ago, and I want these to be bright. So I'm just kind of going everywhere with it. And that is my cat Odin. 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 I think sometimes he forgets that I'm around. Then, after the silver base coat, see it's all shiny, I like to give it a wash of, I've just got a plastic tray on my wet pellet so I don't get, so the wash doesn't run everywhere, of, let's see, about half and half blue and black, and then added to that we'll thin it with a Floaid. This is kind of my pot that I just use all the time. Floaid is not normally that color. So just go ahead and dump a little bit on. This isn't very precise. And give that a mix. And then dump a bit of Floaid in there. And give that a mix. The Floaid will help it, will thin it down and help it hang out in the cracks instead of the surface. So it will make highlighting later easier because it won't be so dark. Let's see, I put a lot on here. Let's give it a little test. I think that should be okay. It's pretty thin. Alright. So for the chainmail, we just go along the horizontal edges here, along the scales, I guess, or scale mail, barding, I don't know. And the wash will just sink right into those cracks, and can put a lot of Floaid in here. That's okay. We'll have to go give this a couple coats, I think. Don't want to let it pool up too much, then it'll look weird. One trick that I learned from, let's see, James Wapple, was to hold the mini upside down while you're doing washes like this so that it will stay right at the tops of the scales like you want it to. Okay, so that's all the chainmail. Next we'll go on to the trickier part, is the the smoother metals. This we can't just rely on the flow aid to pull it into the cracks. We have to pull it into the cracks ourselves, or the darker areas ourselves. So we're gonna make just under the top of the knee dark, and then kind of in this crease around the ankle dark, and then underneath the calf here. And also just in the crease above the kneecap. So we'll start there. And because it's so thin, we shouldn't get the tide lines like we would normally. And this will probably take a few coats to cover. And I think I'll zoom in here so you can see a little better what is going on. Stop shaking. Okay. Yeah, that's going to be pretty subtle, so we'll have to do another coat of that, but we'll move on to another area. So for the chest is pretty easy. We just want to get the dark areas under his armpits there and along the edges where the gold meets the silver. And just under the collar. This we can rely on our flow aid a little bit for, because it'll just sink right in there. Okay. And the other boot. The back. Again, pretty straightforward here. The helmet is kind of tricky, so what I like to do for the helmet is just kind of drag up, and that will kind of pull the paint off the bottom around that bottom edge and leave less paint at the top, like so. And keep doing that all the way around. And if the top gets too dark, you can always pull the wash down back to the underside of the curvature there. And that's kind of what we'll do over here, I think. There. So again, that'll probably need another coat when it's dry. We don't want to mess with it while it's half dry because then we'll get weird marks from the brush. Okay, and then the spear. Kind of same thing, except with the spear we're going to leave the wash more on the outside near the tip, and on the left side near the top, and on the right side near the bottom, so it'll kind of have this opposite color because the light's hitting the top on the right side more. So that, and like that. And then for the rest, we'll just kind of there we go. Let that hang out. And the other side, we'll do the same thing, except on the right side we'll pull the paint to the top, and on the left side we'll pull the paint to the bottom, or the wash to the bottom. So the left side we're going up. And on the left side we're going down. Gravity is working against me on this side. Might be easier to flatten it out. And again, that's really thin, so we'll have to wait for that to dry before we do another coat. And let's see, make sure we get all the sides. And then the last little bit to cover is the helmet for the horse. Now this, we're going to try to make it darker right in here. And then also at the bottom of these and around the top near the feather. So do kind of the same thing we did with the helmet and pull it and let the paint kind of hang out in there, or the wash hang out in there. And like so. Alright, so we'll go ahead and do another wash for the chainmail. It's still kind of wet, so actually I'm going to let it sit and dry and come back when it's ready to go. Alright, so here's what it looks like after that first coat dried. You can see it's quite subtle at this point, but after the second coat it should darken up. So we'll just go ahead and take that same mix we had before and do things kind of upside down and start. There, now you can see a little bit more of the shading on the shin plate there. And yeah, that should give it a nice dullness in the shadows and kind of make the higher areas pop a little bit more. And then keep going. So we have the other side. This one I'm pulling the wash more towards the middle because that's kind of an area that's, I guess, just to give it a little bit more contrast from the edges that are sticking out a little bit more. And then on the back of the chest plate, we want to make sure to try to keep the wash on the bottom half. So that's the side that is more in shadow. Then the shin plate. Then the helmet. Okay, and then I think lastly we have the spear. Oh, you can see my wash is getting a little thicker now. It's coating a little bit more evenly, which is not really something we want. It's acting more like a glaze now. But on the other side, it's a little easier to control. Okay. Then here. Now that's getting a little funky up there because it's gotten a little thick, and I tried to mess with it while it was still wet, so it's kind of splotchy. But that's okay because we'll just dry brush it later, and that'll be on the top anyway, so that'll get hit by the dry brush. Okay, I think the last bit to do is the helmet for the horse. So, the horse's helmet is kind of funky shaped on the nose because the person I got these from kind of went crazy cleaning the mold lines, and there's basically a big flat area right in there. So it's pooling a little funny, but that's okay. Because hopefully that'll make it not so noticeable. So you can see on the helmet it's really darkened up nicely. Besides that weird funky area, this side looks really nice, and then it's still drying here. But on the shins, they're looking good. This one could maybe use a little bit more. This like right here. And I think that'll be good. Yeah, that looks good. Alright, I'll let this dry and we'll move on to the next step. Okay, so the next step is going to be dry brushing. Just got this dry brush here and the Citadel ones. And I'm starting with the steel color, the Vallejo Model Air Steel. Steel. And just pick up some paint there and wipe most of it off. And then try to just hit the areas where we want the light to fall. So, mostly on places like so. And on the top of the shin there, and to catch the bottom of the ankle. Then on the skirt here, just to hit the bottom side, which is catching more of the light. The top part is kind of facing more towards the ground, so you won't hit that really. And same with the shoulders. Top of the shoulders, and then maybe just the bottom bit there. Same with over here. Okay. Then the chest plate is kind of hard to reach, but we'll try to get it anyway. This is why we do everything inside first before we do paint the outside. Yes, everything outside just gets covered up. And then on the other side, we need to do the shin plate, or the shin guards, or blah blah blah. The chainmail thing, the barding. Shin plate. I I've never had too much success with dry brushing, but these Model Air paints just are so smooth that you don't get any of that weird chalkiness with the some of the Citadel paints. Oh, and it could just be the nature of metallics that it's a lot easier to dry brush metallics. So yeah, I was just hitting the top of the helmet, kind of where that weird mistake was, and leaving the bottom part near the crease as it was. Then the spear got a little funky because I, again, tried to go over it when it was wet, and I got this, basically wiped off everything that was wet underneath. Because when you put these washes on, the second layer kind of reconstitutes the bottom layer, and if you try to go over it too soon, it'll just wipe it all off, and that's what happened here. I wiped it all off, and it got this tide line, and it's kind of icky looking. So we're not going to really worry about it too much. We're just going to cover it up with a little bit of dry brushing and kind of clean up where we wanted those highlights. There. There's a little dark spot there, and I'm not sure. That might be just a model issue. This is why it's a good idea to prep your models very well before you start painting, because any imperfections will show up in this step. There, now you can see the reverse shadow that we've got going on there. That turned out pretty nice. Okay, I think we already did this side. Then, did we do this side? Yeah, let's brighten this up a little bit. And then the helmet, we'll just kind of go over it back and forth to hit the tops here. Trying to be careful not to hit the horse head colored. There. So now we'll go with the Vallejo Model Air Silver. And this silver and the steel are quite close. The silver is just less blue. The silver has kind of a blue tint to it. Silver is pretty bright. And again, we'll just go over the areas. We'll go over this a little bit lighter with the silver to just not putting as much pressure to really just get those raised areas. Yeah, I was trying to do some of these with trying to like layer the metallics, and I just was not having any good luck with it, and I was resisting doing dry brushing because I just hadn't had any luck with it in the past. It's always kind of turned out chalky and very obviously dry brushed. Here we'll might have to go back to clean up those shadows, but that's okay. Let's re-brighten that up, just to re-darken the areas between the plates. But so anyway, yeah, I was getting kind of frustrated with these, and that's why it's been so long between this video and the last one. But then I just tried dry brushing, and it worked really well with these metallics, and I'm really pleased with that. So I highly recommend the Vallejo Model Air silver and steel colors. I also got a gold, but for some reason that has started to like clump and get really weird. Oops, a little too much. So I'm not sure what's going on there, but brighten those up. Helmet. And the horse's helmet. Okay, that is the silvers. So he ended up looking pretty good. Thanks for watching, and next time we will do the skin, which should go pretty quick because there isn't much of it. So see you later. Thanks for watching. Well, I forgot to reline those edges with the wash. I switched brushes. This is a much finer brush, and we'll just catch those areas on the chainmail that got kind of covered up. They got a little too shiny, so we just want to reline this edge, or these boundaries here between the plates. Now, if you were really careful, you could just do this from the beginning, but that would take forever. So we don't do that. And I think we want to just redefine some of these. There. And now he's really done. So, see you later. Thanks for watching. Bye.